Geyer here.
Mark, is there a format to this?
Yeah, we're gonna open it up to questions first from our students, and then we'll put you on the spotlight featuring the guests, words of wisdom, number one, and any questions we'll ask the other participants that they might have for you. And we try to finish in an hour. And there, I've seen Neil Miller joined us. Good evening, Neil.
Hi all, Mark. I got dessert in my mouth, sorry.
That's okay. Are you still on the Cape?
Yep, yes, and well, the tomatoes are awesome and everything like that, but I'm in need of more intellectual stimulation, so here we are.
Come to the right place.
Right on.
(7:02). Hey, Jonathan, thanks for joining. Jonathan's our Vice President of Enrollment Management. We've got a few faculty as well, a few staff. No Kim yet. Kim, is that you in the corner? I see a Kim, but it might not be the right Kim. Ah, hey, Kim.
Hi, everybody.
Kim and I want to thank you for joining. I hope the new year is off to a good start for our students. This is the third one of these that we've done, and we'll keep doing them so long as they generate student interest. We've got two key objectives. Number one, answer questions that our students have as they're moving in or their families. And then number two, we'll introduce you to, we'll feature a few alums, friends of the university each time around. Ask them each to offer some pearls of wisdom, things that they wish somebody had told them when they were starting or going to college. And then see if any of the current students have questions for them. So the second part is designed to promote networking within our student body, but also beyond with alums and friends of Alfred University. So Kim, did that capture it accurately enough?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, let's start with the questions, comments. Hopefully not too many of you on Monday got caught up in the Zoom issues and the Canvas issues that I guess too many people around the country were loading up on those IT infrastructures, and until about 12:30, calls weren't going through. Anybody experience difficulties along those lines? And you can unmute yourself. So feel free to.
I'm getting it. I'm just not getting any.
Rena, can you hear us okay?
Not hearing anything.
I didn't know when to ask my question.
Go ahead, ask me.
Okay, so me and my friends are wondering about how we would go about getting absentee ballots and being able to register for students who aren't already registered, and if the university can help us out with sending out those absentee ballots.
Good question. Kim, I don't know that, but maybe Tricia DeBertolis.
Yeah, I think Tricia would know. Raina, I'd be happy to look into that for you. I'm going to put my email address here in the chat if you want to follow up, but I'll make note of your name too. So
Okay,
I can.
thank you.
You're welcome.
My daughter Alyssa just did that today. She said she went online and was able to get her absentee ballot.
Okay. Like from a New York State website?
She's in Barisi. I don't know if she can help you.
Okay.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, I know it got a Facebook prompt 2 days ago how to apply for an absentee ballot. So I don't know who set that in motion, but was able to do it that way.
Okay. And then my second question was about like in previous semesters, how there's a bus that takes you to Hornell. Is that still happening this semester, or are we not doing that because of COVID?
So I learned recently that it's called the Hat Bus, the one that runs from Hornell to Alfred is not running to Alfred right now. So we're not sure when they're going to pick up that service again.
Okay.
But we can check into it, see if we've got an update. I know I saw 3 buses on campus Monday morning, right around the brick, and they had Hornell on them, but I couldn't figure out what they were doing there. How's the move-in been going?
It's okay. I mean, like, the 4th floor of Bartlett with heavy boxes isn't the best thing ever, but you get over it.
Moving's going well for me.
Good.
Good.
What floor are you on, Amelia?
I'm actually in the environmental studies house.
Okay.
So we have a big house and there's 2 of us in it. So I have a room to Zoom and a room to sleep, which is really nice.
Living large.
Hey, Jasmine.
Did you participate in the Mark the Chalk?
No, I didn't hear about it.
Okay.
Was
I asked Dan Napolitano, and I think John Lewis was involved with that. How, if we do it again, how we get the word out. Amelia had a suggestion for us this morning that we ought to think about installing a swing somewhere with our outdoor setting, and we've got a lot of nice trees. We'd have to sanitize it in between swings, but thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah, even after I sent that, I thought as an art student and maybe even with some engineering students, we could design one and create one, you know.
Not any ordinary swing, but an outside of ordinary swing.
And maybe this is a good time to mention AU Connect is where you'll find out about those kind of activities. Walk and some other things that have been going on. We'll have more as we continue to plan throughout the semester. But you can go to AU Connect. You can just Google it. You'll find it. You can also download an app called Cork, and it connects with AU Connect. So it tells you all the activities that are happening.
And it's spelled C-O-R-Q.
Q, yep.
And if any of you have been to the ground floor of PCC so far, the bike hub is set up there. And the 2 student operators were busy scheming, how do I post, because they'd like more business. Quite a few bikes available, but they're going to be using Cork and AU Connect as well.
I just wanted to follow up on Raina's question about the Hat Bus. It actually was just updated. I just saw right before getting on here, so I think it was updated, but it runs Monday through Friday only right now, leaving Alfred at 1:10 p.m. And then it will bring you to the Wegmans Walmart Plaza, which will then pick you up at 2:35. Masks are required, and it's 6 riders per bus. A max of 18 total, so there'll be 3 buses running, and it's a first come, first serve.
Okay, so there's like no way you could like reserve a seat?
It doesn't seem like that at this point, but that was posted on the Center for Student Involvement at AU. So if you are a Facebook person, you can look up what's happening there.
It's okay, I'll just run from here to Brick Lawn.
Camp out well in advance.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any other move-in stories? Good, bad, ugly?
Yeah, I have one. We were like planning on driving here because I was supposed to arrive at like 2 p.m. on Sunday, and we were coming from Connecticut, and things just came up, and we were, because we have like 2 dogs in our apartment, friends that I was living with. We were like taking care of them, and then we had errands to do like for other friends. By the time we had left, it was like 12 p.m. So I literally called the office, and like everyone at Alfred was so sweet. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's okay. We'll make sure you have all your things and everything." So I was nervous as hell, but everyone was so nice. So we got here safely.
What residence hall are you in?
I'm in Cannon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a roommate?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You take out his trauma.
And hopefully you didn't find any of the radar traps along the way, Jasmine.
Notorious for fines along that stretch. Other move-in stories or questions?
You ever dropped a box from the 4th floor of Bartlett all the way down to the bottom steps and have to bring it back up again?
Anything break?
No, luckily it was just like sheets and stuff, but I was just willing to leave it downstairs and let somebody else have it at that point.
Dude, oh, I would have started screaming. I would have kicked it. I'm so mad.
Yeah, usually we have the football team and the women's soccer team that help new students move in. This year, because of COVID-19, we had to do it in a different fashion. So, and there's usually a competition among the football players who gets the heaviest refrigerator, who short straw. So
I'm thinking about developing an advanced pulley system out in my window because the stairs aren't it.
I mean, if we're just sharing move-in stories, I was coming from New Hampshire and my mom's an elementary school worker. And so in order to avoid quarantining before the first days of school, but still managing to get me to college when we don't have anyone else with a car that was available in our lives at this moment, we left New Hampshire at 4 in the morning for my move-in slot at like 12 to 2 p.m. And we just did a straight shot and moved me into my dorm. And my mom took a 20-minute nap and then got in the car and drove herself home. So, I mean, you know, I envy that woman's resolve immensely.
please convey our thanks to her.
Yeah, she texted me at 9 p.m. that night that she got home. So.
What part of New Hampshire are you from?
If you know the Concord area, then we're right around the Hopkinton area, which is about 10 minutes from Concord.
Nice part of the state.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Any other move-in stories?
Has anyone already FaceTimed like their family or friends since they moved in?
My sister calls me every 15 minutes like clockwork.
My mom called me this morning, but the woman that she hires to clean her house like every 2 weeks, I guess, is also named Amelia, spelled the same way. And she was trying to call her instead of me. But she was really happy to hear my voice. So it worked out. I got a good laugh.
I have 5 siblings, but we just have a Snapchat that we keep in touch with that's been pretty active since everybody's gone back to school.
We had a question in the chat room, Kim. When will the, Jonathan posted on absentee voting. So if you check the chat room, you'll see that information. Jaden Burchard asked, when will the Gibbs Fitness Center reopen at McLean? We were just talking about that earlier today. Kim, you want to take that?
Sure. Yep. I just answered that in the chat. We're working on the details now. I don't have an exact date for you, but we're working through the safety protocols and we should have information on that very soon.
We envision probably the soonest would be not next week, but the week after. We need to get some special air filters. We've got those tracked down that the state's mandating. The requirements are you got to de-densify down to 25%. So we got to make sure we got the right protocols in place and the signage in place. But the basic decision today was to reopen the gym.
Thank you.
The other thing you'll be receiving either later tonight or tomorrow, we've made an arrangement with the Upstate Medical Center. So starting next week, and we're right now working out the logistics, that for next week and the week after, we're going to be asking each student to take a pooled saliva-based test, just so we're accurately tracking if we have an issue. And you'll be pooled into groups of 12. And then if there's a positive in the group of 12, then they retest everyone in the group. It's just a way that other schools, some recently, have developed. Syracuse is using this model, Cornell as well. And we just want to make sure we're as level set as possible. And then once we get beyond those 2 weeks, we'll be doing a surveillance-based test. So a smaller subsample of our student body each week. So we're keeping ears to the ground. So stay tuned on those details. We still got a lot of logistics to work out, but we think it'll add some additional helpful safety. Jeff, how'd your daughter's move-in go? Jeff Danaher's on our advancement team. I don't know if you're in earshot. You're still muted.
It went like a charm.
Okay.
I got my steps in, moving to the 3rd floor of the brick. Stronger than I thought I was carrying a refrigerator.
And Jeff works in particular with a lot of our student athletes. And the recent gift that we announced to help with our wellness center to both diversify and improve it, Jeff played an integral role, as did Kim Geyer, in making that happen. I haven't seen the alumna yet who's responsible for the gift and the trustee member, but we'll see if she joins us in a little bit. Other questions, move-in stories?
So you said you're working on like opening the fitness center and everything. Does that also include like the pool and stuff?
Kim, do you want to tackle that?
Yeah, we are planning to open the pool as well, so that will be open and available. Did you ask about another space?
Just like similar, just like workout area, quote unquote. So yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the tents have arrived, and now we're in the process of starting to put them up, so to create more outdoor areas. And one of our trustees donated a large thermometer. Will show up in PCC here shortly, where it'll automatically take your temperature as you're entering the building, just to help spot check.
It's really encouraging to see everyone like kind of stick to like all the rules and everything. I've seen nothing but masks everywhere, so it's really good to see everyone doing well.
The CFO, who's a 2-time alumna, and I were talking yesterday, and we both were comparing notes how well people during the day were wearing masks. That I'm starting to feel guilty because when I'm walking outdoors and I'm keeping distant, I'm not wearing a mask. That somebody will report me to a hotline because I'm not going to. But anyway, so thanks for setting the good example. If you haven't yet signed the Protect the Lux, please do so. And if you have family members that would like to be part of periodic updates, let us know their email addresses and their names. We're going to be starting next week with periodic updates to families, just so they know what's going on campus. And the big thing we're doing too is my counterpart at Alfred State and I are actually going to walk through the village tomorrow night and Friday night. Some of the villagers were saying they saw some parties off campus locations. So that people weren't always wearing masks that were too close together. So anything you can do to help encourage the right behavior, because you only need one weak link like that somewhere in this village to have to revert to online learning.
Saul asked a really good question in the chat about students moving out or leaving their belongings in their rooms during the winter break that's coming up.
Kim?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, the plan is at this point in time that everyone will move out in November. And that was for a couple of reasons. One, we want to make sure all the rooms are clean and everything is prepped for when everyone returns. And also, just in worst case scenario planning, we hope we make it through November, but we wanted to encourage everyone to bring, not the kitchen sink and everything that you can possibly think of, but to pack lightly and bring what you need. So that is the plan at this point, but we'll see how the semester goes. And of course, if we don't need to do that, we can always change plans.
So if there's a therapeutic that's developed or a vaccine that we don't have to go there, we're going to try to avoid making that happen. One of our other trustees sent us a note. He's close to a school in Maryland. His wife serves on the board there. and they're actually sponsoring a contest. So if we can stay in person the entire semester, having community members, students suggest ideas of what we could do to celebrate that success. And one of the celebrations might be you don't have to move out of the room because we made it. So give it some thought, and if you've got some ideas along those lines, whether you throw a big party in the spring. I know we've talked to the first years about a prom that they missed in their senior year in high school, but give it some thought, and Kim and I are open to suggestions. Last call on questions. Any others?
I know we talked about screening a little bit, but on return to campus, students were required to bring 2 thermometers. However, in the daily screening, there's no section to put your temperature. So will that be like updated in the future?
I think there's a question that asks that you report symptoms. And so I think it doesn't ask you for a specific number, but does it ask you if you have a high temperature or a low temperature? Just a general question?
Yeah, like just general symptom questions.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's how it is. I don't expect that it'll be updated, but I can double check on that.
I'm pretty sure it says it specifies a particular temperature, and if you're there and above, then it's a symptom that gets flagged. But we'll double, yeah, like Kim said, we'll double check. Okay. Got one more. RAs seem to be keeping a low profile. Kim, do you want to tackle that? I know we were staggering. Well, we've got an RA in Mulan, Anastasia. So we've got a high profile one with us tonight.
Yeah, if you have not heard from your RA yet, you will be soon. They are available, and they are accessible there to answer questions and help you. But yeah, if you have not heard anything from them yet, you will be soon. And if you want to reach out to me to let me know if you're not sure who your RA is, or you're not sure who to contact, feel free to reach out and I can connect you.
Actually, I posed the question. I'm a parent of the first year, and they're really, I've heard this story multiple times that students have no idea who their RAs are. There's one RD who serves Brick and Cruisin', and I lived in Cruisin' myself, so I know if something's going on in Cruisin', you have no idea what's going on in Brick. I'd really like to be assured that before this first weekend, students know who their RAs are and that there is someone in charge on their floor.
Thanks,
do you mind if I ask who the student is so that I can follow up?
Yeah, I'll private message you.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks for bringing it.
Yes, and for those who don't know, the RAs, and there are also resident directors as well who oversee the RAs. They do rounds. Things are looking a little bit differently this year, of course, due to COVID, but they will be doing rounds. They'll still be checking in on students and making sure that everyone is okay and helping them to understand the safety protocols as well.
And I believe we had a couple RAs that were late in coming back for a variety of reasons due to travel restrictions, quarantining. And this year we're doing the training online as opposed to in person. We do the training for RAs and RDs at the beginning of the year as well.
Thank you. I understand it's a difficult time and a lot of things are in flux, but this is a pretty pressing issue. Like I said, both from security and being an alumnus of Alfred, I worry about it from a liability standpoint too.
That's very important stuff. So we will track it to the ground.
Thank you.
No problem. So that creates a nice segue to our first alumni friend introduction. She was one of our Marlon Miller Outstanding Senior Award winners in the spring. College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and now she's with us as an MBA student through the 4+1 option. Hails originally from the Rochester area. Has thought perhaps of pursuing law down the road, started an organization to help women of color in particular over the summer, so an entrepreneur already. Came out of our HEOP program, and we're looking for great things from her. She's already achieved an enormous amount, puts in long hours. She's the RD at Bartlett. Just was in the process of moving in over the last few days herself. So Anastasia, and she also goes by Mulan. Her last name's Campbell. Words of wisdom for our students and some of the parents that are with us.
Hello everyone. I wasn't prepared for this. Honestly, I wish that someone would have told me more about the resources, or even as a first year, sometimes we know that they're out there, but we're like afraid to even go check them out or see what's available. So I definitely encourage students and parents to encourage their students, because if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have gone out and checked out certain things, like take advantage of the tutoring, take advantage of any opportunity they do have for you to be social and socially distant, because that is a crucial part to your experience as a student. And definitely a lot of students have reached out to me, so the knowing who your RD is, we have sent out emails, so we are trying to speak to the students every chance we get, every time we see them, and make our presence more known. So definitely just take advantage of everything and reach out to everyone that you can. And students can reach out to me even though I'm in Bartlett and Cannon. I'm still available to help or give any words of encouragement or advice along the way.
And Anastasia, if you're comfortable, please feel free to leave your email in the chat room. And if people have any questions for our guests today, please feel free either in person or by unmuting yourself or putting it in the chat room. I'm going to turn next to a member of our board of trustees. He's a class of '79 member. He ended up starting at Cornell, but found it was too big. And then came here, became a straight A engineering student. Also, pivotally for him, what he took advantage of is in our performing arts, he was the male lead in our musicals. He's an introvert by nature, and performing improved his communication skills. It got him more comfortable, at least socially, being an extrovert. Longtime leader at Corning Incorporated, ran 2 major divisions, so ended up getting an MBA after pursuing an undergrad degree in engineering here from Alfred University. He served on our board of trustees, looking here, Tom, since 2001. He heads up our strategic planning committee of the board, always asks incredibly thoughtful questions, provides good advice, and he likes to tell the joke about how do you know the difference between an introverted and an extroverted engineer. Anybody know the answer? Tom, the answer?
No, I'm not sure I remember that one, Mark.
Yeah, the extrovert is looking at your shoes as opposed to their shoes. And Tom, the Corning Inc. management would take him on planes for major presentations because compared to a lot of other engineers, he became more extroverted through the roles he played in musicals. He and I both also have something similar. We both played as kids the same musical instrument. It tortured me for 1 year. I tortured it. I gave up on it. Tom, if anything, has stuck with it and now is reacquainting himself with playing the clarinet. So, Tom, words of wisdom. Tom Hinman.
Thanks, Mark, for that generous introduction. I think what I would say to all the students on here and to parents who are joining is, at Alfred, the size of the institution is a real asset, i.e. it's small and there don't have to be any boundaries. So to me, for these next 4 years of undergraduate school, it's really important to explore, really important to expand your options and do different things beyond just the chosen area of your major. And it's okay to do that at Alfred. I think I had a natural love of music and the performing arts, so I was drawn to do those things. But had I not had that strong pull, I might not have done as much as I did. And so I would just encourage you all, if there's something that you see that's of interest in the humanities and liberal arts, in art and design, a real passion of mine these days is learning how to do glass blowing. Go for it and go explore. You will never have the kinds of opportunities to do those sorts of exploratory things once you leave Alfred. It'll be very difficult to repeat that. So open up your options. Do different things that you might not have ever imagined doing, and take advantage also of the fact that Alfred's a great outdoors place. And there are tons of things to do and experience in the outdoors around the Alfred area. So it's a true asset. And as Mark said, for me, being able to not only focus on engineering, which served me well through my career, but also to develop my expertise and skill in performing arts, which also served me tremendously well throughout my career at Corning. Those are real positives. And you've got a quality institution, as well as the ability to cross over almost any border and figure out what else might be out there that you'd love to do.
Tom and his wife Patty live on Cuckoo Lake. They have 2 sons, and likes to read a lot. And he and I are both jigsaw puzzle fanatics. That an assistant, to punish me because she knew I liked jigsaw puzzles, actually gave me a 10,000 piece puzzle about 2 months ago that you have to use a looking glass to identify the pieces. I haven't even started to begin that one, but maybe when we're through COVID-19, we'll start to tackle it, and promise Tom he gets it next.
I think that was more of a threat, Mark, than a promise. I'm waiting to see you do that puzzle.
Haven't started yet. So next, let me introduce another, he's reasonably new to our Board of Trustees. He's joined us in 2018. He's not an alum, but he's from the Rochester area. Very much an Alfred University, though, type person. Has really fallen in love with us and been an amazing supporter of our university. His name's Neil Miller. He and his wife now are on the Cape in Massachusetts. And he is one of the top money managers of all time at Fidelity Investments. And he has a real eye for picking what firms, what organizations are going to be successful. He likes to get to know the organizational culture, the leadership approaches. He didn't have that good of a math score on his SAT.
Right on.
It's self-described in that regard, but he was still able to translate his ability to find diamonds in the rough. And one of the first things he did when he was in high school in Rochester, he was the class treasurer. And he decided to put all the student council money into a company called Haloid Corporation. And Neil will still say they should have kicked him out of school. They didn't have good safeguards because that money shouldn't have been just one person's to devote. But Haloid Corporation at the time became Xerox, incredibly successful. And Neil will say they threw the best prom his high school had ever had, thanks to his stock picking as a high school student. So we're glad Neil has adopted us. We're going to be announcing to our board tomorrow. He and his wife also most recently made a commitment to promote second chances. He's big on giving second chances to people and helping our advising. He's been supporting another recent Marlon Miller Outstanding Senior Award winner to help us recruit more people from the military, veterans in particular. So Neil, without further ado, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Mark, thanks for the generous comments. And Tom, your commentary on self-discovery, learning and experimenting and discovering yourself, oh boy, that's what college is all about. And being nurtured. And it's so refreshing to see all the pictures here without people wearing masks. I just hope that that's in our future, and et cetera, to see self-expression and see enthusiasm. And but yeah, turning over rocks is kind of what I've done all my life, and I'm very much an introvert. So Mark, you put me on the spot a bit, but what a lot of fun to be part of Alfred and part of the tradition. And look forward to this journey, Mark. You're boy, and Yeah, Lynn just echoed, we believe in you. So in any event, we'll kind of conclude from there. But everyone dig hard and be greatly inspired, and just be prepared for experiences that might be a setback or a learning, and we'll be successful.
Thanks a lot, Neil, and give our regards to Lynn.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
And right above you in my Hollywood Squares is a non-alum who just joined our board in July. He's a serial entrepreneur, has 3 law degrees. I started off wanting to pursue a PhD in liberal arts, then ended up switching, got a law degree from Yale, has been running the entrepreneurship program at the University of Rochester's Business School. He's been one of the largest Burger King and Wendy's franchisees in the state of New York, and was the largest with his brother franchisee for Friendly's. And for a while, they were looking to take over that organization that's based out of Massachusetts. He's most recently received 2 other law degrees, including a PhD in law from Northwestern University. We never know how he finds the time because he's got a job as an entrepreneur and at the same time running an entrepreneurship program. Big believer in social entrepreneurship. If you're interested in an entrepreneurial venture, Dennis is a great resource to keep in mind. Always toying around with what's coming around the corner and what may make an impact on the world. He got elected by, or appointed by Governor Cuomo to the investment commission for workman's comp, or the insurance commission, sorry, for the state of New York, and has also been active in providing or promoting better policing in the city of Rochester. So Dennis, thanks for joining us, and there you go.
Mark, thank you very much. You are a master of generous introductions. I think Tom and Neil can attest to that as well, and I thank you very, very much. It's a great honor to have been asked to participate in as trustee at Alfred, and if I could offer anything to the incoming students, it's sort of echoing exactly what both Tom and Neil had said. This is a time of discovery for you. I remember as an undergraduate at City College in New York, getting on a subway car and going from my home in Queens to Manhattan, and just wondering, just getting through it, and not really realizing the value of enjoying all the new relationships. And I want to encourage you, I really want to encourage you, don't let COVID be the reason why you haven't really made friendships that are deep and lasting, because the best friendships can be made in college and last a lifetime. So I want to really encourage that, being careful about the situation, but try to develop friendships that are long lasting and deep. I also want to encourage you to engage with the faculty. You should not leave 4 years of Alfred without knowing a faculty member who you can call after you graduate. For me, as a faculty member, that is the real, I can't think of anything that's more exciting for me to hear from students long after they have graduated. Just recently was asked to perform the nuptials for a student who was a student of mine 5 or 6 years ago. And we encourage that. And Alfred is a perfect place to do it. So for the faculty that I've met, I'm ever impressed with their warmth, talent, and interest in your career. So, and that I'm sure extends to the trustees as well. So I'd be very happy to put my contact information up on the chat. And then I already heard about somebody who's a budding entrepreneur, and I expect to hear from her too. So my pleasure, Mark. Thanks very much. I look forward to working with you and my fellow trustees.
Dennis has been a longstanding good friend as well. He's performed more than a few marriage ceremonies. And so keep that in mind as well. He's very good at it. He's very good at matchmaking too. So
except for myself, by the way.
Certainly good. I'll try to return the favor, but Dennis introduced me to my significant other, so we've got him as a minister down the road.
Yes, I'm licensed, by the way, for that purpose. So keep that in mind. I'll post my email contact information and look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks a lot, Dennis.
You bet.
Don McPherson, are you with us? He's going to be with us. He's and if we can't get him tonight, and Kristen, or have you been able to join us? I haven't seen you, but maybe you're on one of the phones. Okay, so if we don't pick him up tonight, we'll get him next week. So far, for sure, it looks like next week we have a prominent glass artist who runs a studio out of Brooklyn, New York, Andrew Erdos, that's going to be joining us. And the congressional rep from our area is an alumnus of ours, a former swimmer, Tom Reed. He's also going to try to join us if they have the legislation pinned down in Washington, D.C. Couldn't join tonight because they're in the midst of negotiating that. But I guess any questions that our students have for our trustees and our alums?
I guess this is a question for all of them, but what's the biggest decision you made in the last year of your college experience?
So I'll jump in. As I was finishing up my engineering coursework at Alfred, I actually decided that, you know, I love science and technology, but I really was attracted to leadership and management. And so, very frankly, the best choice I made was while I was still in school, still used to studying, taking exams and preparing, I took the GMATs. And those are, I think, still good for 5 years, Mark would know. And that served me well in terms of I did not have to deal with that challenge as I got out of school and started working for a few years. A lot changes then, but it was looking ahead. I always told my sons that it's important to think about your options and keep thinking about how do I keep my options open. And that helped me immensely, keeping my options open in terms of whatever path I wanted to go after I worked for a year or two. So that was a key thing for me.
Lon, how about you? What was the key thing you did last year or would advise?
Graduating during the pandemic was very much a struggle, but I just learned to be patient. The biggest decision now would be coming back and furthering my education because I realized how difficult things were during the time. So definitely gaining more experience. I looked into certifications, anything that could help me further my education in some way. Just honestly keeping myself going because I really enjoy learning and constantly gaining more value and stuff. So.
Neil or Dennis?
Nothing profound for me. I'm just too old. I think I was intrigued with jet aviation coming into the fore and how that might facilitate the economy of the future and shrinking the world.
Yeah, finding something where the wind's going to be at your back, and it depends on when you graduate at different times.
But it part of a self-discovery, you know, what you're good at and what motivates you and what a real excitement in the world. So it's part of the liberal arts experience.
Yeah, and for me, it was deciding what graduate school to go to, and that I had to remain in New York City, and I wound up becoming a New York City taxi cab driver for 2 years to support my way through graduate school. And that was momentous, and I realized it was time for me to leave when a woman gave birth in my taxi cab and asked me my name. And in any case, I realized I think I should be doing something else because I couldn't help deliver the baby. So I decided then to go to law school. So
What Tom said, the GMAT, if you're thinking of business school, it's good, depending on the school, 5 to 7 years. It's always better to take it early because your scores go down the older you get. When you're 10 years later, your average GMAT score is 100 points lower. So if you want to be as competitive as possible for admittance and scholarship support at the graduate level, take it early. If you're thinking about law school, we've got 3 leading law schools we partner with. Some of them don't require an LSAT if you maintain a certain GPA. And if you're thinking of the health professions, we have partnerships with LECOM. You don't have to take the MCAT, but you have to maintain a certain GPA, certain courses, and gain admission to their dental, medical, or pharmacy schools. And we also have partnerships with the Newhouse School of Communication in Syracuse, their architecture school. So we've got a variety of these. We're right now talking with Cornell and their hospitality school because it's the leading one of its kind in the country. About for those people that are interested in that line of work, how can we facilitate that jumping off point?
Hey, Mark, one other thing I would add, totally separate from career. As you mentioned in your intro for me, I transferred from Cornell to Alfred. And so I was out of sync in terms of when I actually graduated in December. And when I was looking at work options and had 2 offers, I actually decided in my senior, that final semester, not to start work immediately. I waited for 3 months and ended up being an instructor for cross-country skiing up near Syracuse for a couple of months that winter. And I loved it. And frankly, that was a nice break coming out of school to have that space and time to do something of my own personal desires and then launch into, work, which there's a lot of years for that. So anyway, for what it's worth.
Got a question from Zeev. Any tips on managing student loan debt?
Yes, refi and shop the interest rates. They've come way down, and companies like SoFi are very competitive in student debt arena. Also, I think candidate Biden is, I don't really want to be political, but I think I read that he is interested in elimination of federally guaranteed student debt. So I don't know if that would ever pass, but that's a lot of money in student debt.
Got a question from Saul. Any advice on summer internships?
Do them.
Valuable. They're very valuable.
Yeah, I can, emphasize the importance of that. Maybe not so much between freshman and sophomore or first year and second year, but, getting that experience is really important. As Dennis just said, they're invaluable. And frankly, one of the things that our sons both did is we lived in the Corning area. One of their summers in school, they actually worked for the Corning Credit Union. And many banks and credit unions always hire college students to do backfill for summer vacation. Great experience. You learn a ton about a variety of aspects of people's lives in doing those jobs. So even that is an important experience to have, but definitely get the experience.
Good entry for your resume as well.
Keep in mind the Apex program because we provide partial underwriting for those type of experiences. They're the single best predictor of future professional success. And using opportunities to network. Milan, you ended up working in the law firm one summer, right? Because of running into our board chair.
The other thing I would say about summer internships is it's important to get the experience. It's great to have on your resume, as Des said, but many times it's just as important to know what you don't want to do as what you might want to do. And it's a great opportunity to try out a company or whatever. And you can tell in a couple of months, so I really want to be a part of this going forward or not. And sometimes it's just as important to be able to say, thanks, but no thanks.
Like Dennis found out he didn't want to drive a cab.
And deliver babies.
I eliminated 2 occupations.
Any advice for engineering students, Tom?
Well, I will admit I'm biased because I think, yes, the focus on, make sure you know what you need to do to graduate and complete the requirements. But go beyond engineering. Take courses in liberal arts, the performing arts. Go to art and design. Learn how to throw a pot, make a pot, blow a glass piece. Do those different things. Expand your horizons. It's too easy to be consumed by the engineering challenges and the coursework. I see Alex Claire's on here. She's probably ready to shoot me right now, but it's a demanding curriculum without a doubt, but make the time to go do other things. You have to do that.
Alex is one of our glass scientists in the Inamori School of Engineering. And one of Tom's longstanding ideas has been promoting is that each student in your first year, you would throw a pot, regardless of your academic field, or blow a piece of glass, so that you'd have a memento that you could tie to your Alfred University experience.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex said we actually have a glass art engineering class. Alex, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's a great class. It's a 300 level, junior level class, and we have both glass artists and glass engineers in it, and they get to do project work together. And so what happens is the glass engineers might say, I really would like a glass that did this, and they work together with the engineers to try and make it happen. And it's a lot of fun. I have a blast.
I'm actually in that class this semester too, so I'm already loving it.
Come and do a project with me.
I will. I can't wait.
Speaking somebody in their last year of our MBA program, Robin Majika's on our advancement staff. Any words of advice, Robin, given what you're experiencing in the home stretch?
Well, more of the experience getting out of school is making sure that you really identify your transferable skills. You know, I was an art student, went into banking, and then decided to leave banking and got into advancement, which I love doing. And I think the biggest thing was I figured out what the transferable skills. I was creative enough to do that. So artists are creative enough to do that, and I think Alfred is a good place to learn those skills. And my MBA thing, I'm working on my capstone, so we'll see. They wouldn't let me do the art project.
And Robin's got a knack. Sometimes alums are pissed off for a variety of reasons, because we have some alums that used to be part of fraternity sororities. We no longer have them, so they're angry because we got rid of them. Or we used to have a nursing program, and they were part of the nursing program. Robin's our go-to person. She's great at listening, and then in a creative way, channeling people in a productive fashion. So a lot of good things at our university have happened because of Robin's involvement, and her son's an alum of ours as well. Kim, any closing words?
I don't think so. I just hope everyone has a great first week of classes, and we're really looking forward to making it through November, and hope everyone has a great semester. So we all follow the protocols together. We'll get through it. We're all in this together.
And today the special number is 92. So the number of days between now and the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So keep each day coming, and Kim and I would welcome ideas of how we can celebrate if we make it to that important finish line. And somebody asked Alfred State, yeah, we're all part of the same basic bubble. So we got to make sure that, and we've been working with them in the village, that we're all mindful of the right protocols. So thank you for joining us for this hour, and enjoy the rest of the evening. We're going to get some rain here overnight. Much needed. We're looking forward to it. And join me too in thanking our special guests, Anastasia, Neil, Tom, and Dennis, for their words of wisdom and all they do for our university.
Great forum, Mark. Wow.
Yeah.
Really nice. Thank you. And everyone be safe.
That's right. Thank you all. Be safe.